Well, I mean, Trump has openly professed the possibility of running for a third term.
Yes, which is, I mean, it's unconstitutional, basically.
Right.
And here's a problem. If you're a lawyer like me or others, in a lawless society, lawyers are meaningless. If the laws are not abided by, if the courts are not listened to, if the police don't abide by the law, if the army is invoked in suppressing the majority of people in a state, um, the lawyers lose their power, and then we're stuck. The voices that are still standing up for constitutional democracy, which is the key thing in the United States, constitutional democracy and the rule of law. Maybe it's a good idea just to define what is the rule of law.
Right.
The rule of law basically is a state where an ordinary citizen in a society can conduct his or her affairs with the expectation that normally they are able, provided they comply with the law, to lead their lives free of any interference from government and from any troubles. It's a predictable state of existence in society because the society is democratic, by and large, abides by human rights, and respects people's rights, even rights of minorities who, by virtue of the respect that is contained in the Constitution, have rights that need to be respected. That's basically the rule of law as I see it. But the problem is what institutions basically protect the rule of law? The courts, well, the Constitution first and foremost. And these people who are in power swear allegiance to that Constitution. They swear that they will abide by the Constitution. The courts are there to enforce the constitutional rights of citizens. The police are there to police day-to-day affairs and ensure everybody's safety and care. And then, in theory, the executive branch is supposed to enforce, to execute the laws as they are on the books, adopted by Congress. And Congress is another institution that, in theory, protects us as citizens in a democratic society by passing laws and by the setup of the government constitutionally being states and federal government, and the conflict, to the degree there is conflict between those two powers, leads citizens or protects citizens' rights by virtue of the fact that no government, state or federal, can disregard citizens' rights by the fact that the other federal or state government seeks to enforce the rights in accordance with the Constitution. So this federalism, the setup of the country in the way that it's framed in the Constitution by those who framed the Constitution, our founding fathers, it was set up in a way where those who exert power are limited in their exercise of power by virtue of constitutional guarantees on the part of people, the Bill of Rights, for example.
Right.
But the whole key to the whole scenario is not government power, but the limits to government power and how those limits are enforced. And at the moment, we are on a runaway scenario where the federal government is like a great example in my book was over Labor Day weekend. They had a plane full of children that they were deporting in the middle of the night. And it had to be stopped by a judge who had to be woken up. I think it was Sunday morning at 2 a.m. to issue an order to stop these planes from taking off and taking children back to countries where they're going to be just dropped off and left there to who knows what. This is an amazing event that they did it on a long weekend in the middle of the night to deport all these children back to some countries without any arrangements being made about what's going to happen to these children and so on. That is a litmus test of what is going on in America in the immigration space, and why it's alarming. It's like a bugle call to all of us to pay attention from day to day as the government violates again and again the requirements, the legal requirements of how the immigration system and indeed the society should operate.